egg newly ejected by the ovary. The moment of fertilization was recorded, as was the embryo's trip down into the uterus to implant in the wall and continue development. The magical miracle of the whole subsequent 9 months of gestation was condensed into 60 incredible minutes. The final scene was the baby born vaginally and placed naked, wet, and surprised onto the mother's belly, while Mom and Dad cooed and whooped. By the tears on my face and the ache in my chest, I had found clarity as to what was missing. After a marriage, many infertility treatments, monthly disappointments, and one tubal pregnancy later, finally my quest ended in an emergency C-section wherein a 9-pound son was delivered from his petite mom, and our lives were never the same again. The first 3 months were hell. Sleep deprivation and a constantly crying baby made me wonder what I had been thinking. My husband kept reminding me that this phase isn't permanent, but it was difficult to believe him. And then one day, exactly 3 months to the minute after his birth, our son slept through the night. As my mother had chosen to abandon both her then-adult daughters, I had no motherly advice or assistance. It doesn't matter how book-learned you are about children and parenting. When you're postpartum, all intellect evaporates, and you're simply an emotional heap of worry, self-doubt, confusion, fear, and exhaustion. The other problem for me was recovering from the C-section. We did hire a motherly woman for 2 weeks to come in and show me how to handle things, and she was a godsend. In the years before my son started kindergarten, we did try 2 preschool-like establishments to see if they had any benefit for him. One of them lasted 1 day. When I came at 4 p.m. to find that he hadn't stopped crying, that was the end of that. The headmistress gave me the usual argument that he needed to adjust, but I saw no reason to torture my child with my absence until he accepted his loss. The second time was when we were financially desperate, and I needed to do some part-time radio fill-in for some extra money to survive. At first he liked the experience, but after a few weeks the routine became boring, and he yearned to be with me, doing all the stuff we do in a day. Play, reading, errands, dancing, artwork, words and spelling, cycling, hiking, and so forth. So that was the end of that. I am grateful for every moment I've had as a mommy. I have great memories of twirling my son around in a shopping cart in a local Target store parking lot, a lot cheaper than Magic Mountain, or of us walking through a forest pretending we were being tracked by monsters, selecting sticks for swords and spears, and working together to get to safety. And now, he's a paratrooper in the U.S. Army. My husband and I came to the practical conclusion that I needed to go back to radio work to be our family's primary financial support, while he would manage my career, the home, and our finances. Nonetheless, I refused to take any job that would require me to be out of the home every day while our son was home or awake. I would take care of him all day and then go to work on radio, leaving the house at 9 p.m. after putting him to bed. Eventually, when he started kindergarten, I landed a daytime shift while he was in school. In order to do the writing and necessary research, I would get up at 5 a.m. and work a few hours before I woke him up to get ready for school. I always worked my career around my family, never the other way around. The first book I published, 10 Stupid Things Women Do to Mess Up Their Lives, required me to travel up and down the West Coast for interviews. I got all my son's teachers to give me his work for the week and took him with me. He did his work and had a blast traveling, meeting people, and keeping me company. He did cost my publisher a pretty penny, eating all the goodies in the minibar. Then I found out about satellite interviews. I could do 25 local and national television shows in one early morning session. I discovered I didn't have to leave home to promote my book. I have been attacked incessantly for supposed hypocrisy concerning this issue of childcare. I couldn't possibly have done all the things required of my career without neglecting my son, the argument goes. Well, those critics are just plain wrong and clearly defensive out of some well-earned guilt. It is so doable if you are committed to the priority of raising your children yourself, part of a marriage which obviously provides 2 parents, willing to sacrifice some opportunities for the sake of family, willing to do without many things but not family time and attention, and not willing to compromise on your conviction no matter how pressed you get by circumstances or naysayers. None of these efforts, I should say, guarantees that your kids will never be a pain in the butt or get into stupid situations. I will say, however, that your children are less likely to be major pains in the butt.